One of the most exciting things about the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero story mode is that you can go off in the different paths and what-if scenarios. So how crazy will it get, and how far will these actual stories go? Let's talk about some of the stuff in regards to an interview from Jun Fudotani and potential what-if fusions. Alright, what is up? This is SLOplays, and I am back again with some more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero news and updates here on the channel. Let's talk about this new interview that actually came out from IGN and Jun Fudotani mentioning potential what-if fusions. That's not confirmed, okay? It was just a question that was asked, okay? We're going to talk about this in this interview. We're going to go over some of the what-if stuff to try to get a better understanding of how what-if paths will work. How far will they go? How extensive, detailed, and intricate can they get, right? That's what a lot of people have been wondering, and I feel like I've just been going back and forth with it in terms of speculation, trying to figure out, okay, maybe it'll go off into a completely different direction and go into different sagas, or maybe it'll just be a one-off thing where it just stops after the what-ifs take place. You know, for example, it could be Goku goes Super Saiyan in the Saiyan saga, and then that's it. Now, what you're seeing here on screen right now is not actually, you know, a legit thing or anything. This was a mod from Dragon Ball FighterZ, just for reference, and it's probably the most, like, one of the most popular, at least. It was definitely one of my top what-if scenarios that I wanted to see, because this was something that was teased in the anime. Okay, the fusion between Gohan and Goku, a father-son fusion, which is kind of crazy, okay? They were supposed to do it via Patara, but obviously they had just had like the worst coordination when it came to trying to get the fusion to work, because bro, Goku threw it to Gohan, and then he threw it way too far, and Gohan, you know, didn't even know that he threw it. It was like after he already threw it, he goes, Gohan catch. And then Gohan with his butterfingers, we joke around about that. Again, it wasn't only Gohan's fault. Both of them fucked it up, and you know, it wasn't meant to be, right? You know, the story, the plot was wanting Goku and Vegeta to fuse, but would have been cool, right? And it actually would have been very, very powerful, okay? These two fused together would kick absolute ass. So I'm not saying it's completely out of the question or anything, but let's just go over the interview to kind of understand everything, okay? So first and foremost, let's kind of understand the what-if scenarios. And if you guys like these videos, by the way, and you want to keep on seeing more, obviously, you know, drop a like here on the channel, on this video specifically. If we can reach over 1,000 likes, we'll do some more speculation and predictions and just, you know, videos about the news and stuff, because there's a lot in this interview to unpack. So as always, I appreciate your support. So IGN asked this question: can you talk a little bit about what it's like creating a story mode for something like Dragon Ball that's so long and has so many sequels, movies, battles, and character plot lines? How do you decide what to focus on, what to cut, and what to lightly gloss over? This is actually pretty important stuff here, okay, in regards to story, because we've seen a lot in terms of the battles, we've seen a little bit on the story, but story I just feel like hasn't gotten enough touched upon, and I'm not spoiling anything in this. There's no spoilers. It's just a basic, you know, basic info to what to look forward to whenever this game drops in a couple of weeks, okay? So Jun Fudotani says, yeah, or this is the translator that's saying this. Yeah, so a good way of thinking about it is this is about the bottom line, which is that the game's a battle game. Is very important, okay? So in the episode battles that you played earlier, we wanted to focus on which battles highlighted the characters the best in the story. So keep in mind, this story mode isn't going to be extremely detailed. It's probably not going to have every single little thing that some people are expecting. This is not Kakarot, okay? Kakarot was meant to tell the majority of the Dragon Ball story, and even then, Kakarot left out some, you know, pretty important things that the fans wanted, like, for example, Vegeta's Final Flash or Super Trunks, you know? We didn't get to see all that shit, right? And obviously, Goku's story mode is going to have the most intricacy, most details, most what-if paths and things, right? But yeah, just don't expect it to be super in-depth. You know, you've probably already seen a little bit of the story mode and how it's going to take place. It's not going to have fully animated cutscenes. They're obviously only going to animate like the super significant stuff, but you're going to see some like slideshow stuff. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine, okay? We've seen the Dragon Ball story mode told a million times. It doesn't have to have super crazy details. And obviously, the main point of this game, which Jun Fudotani is, you know, conveying here, is that this game was meant to be the arena fighter that people have wanted for years, okay? The story mode is kind of just a bonus, right? That was always a thing. If you ever played the original Tenkaichi games, the story mode wasn't all that great. They were very, you know, like static or stagnant in terms of their animations and things. They would just, you know, stand there with the same blank face, no real facial expressions or changes, and they would just talk with some dialogue. Okay, it was very simple and it was very basic, and that's okay. That's fine. You know, that's, again, it's not what Kakarot was, or even Xenoverse 2 has with their crazy animated cutscenes and stuff, for example. Okay, but if you don't like it and you know you're disappointed by that, that's fine. That's your opinion. There's nothing I can do about that. That's just how it is, right? So moving on, he says, and obviously the side story stuff you can kind of see in the cutscenes, right? You'll see some, like, you know, depending on what it is exactly. If it's something super significant, they'll make like a fully animated cutscene for it, which again, it's motion capture for the characters. That's why it's a little bit jarring at first when you're first seeing it or whatever. It's got a little bit of the Jump Force vibes because I think they also use motion capture with that whenever that came to the cutscenes. But it just helps to, you know, produce these stories and these cutscenes a lot faster than, you know, fully animating the characters. You know what I mean? If you have just some guy, you know, motion captured, some dude like an actual human being, okay, that's when it can, you know, go by a lot faster. It, like, in a sense, it cuts the cost. It's like a shortcut whenever they're doing this, okay? And again, that's okay. We wanted them to just focus mainly on making the game as, you know, Tenkaichi as possible, okay? Good battles, fun, you know, combat and everything, and a lot of characters. And they pretty much fulfilled that. So I think a better way of thinking about it is more than fully enjoying the story, we want the players to fully enjoy the best battles in the Dragon Ball franchise. So it's going to be, you know, the best, like he said, the most significant, coolest battles. They're going to really touch upon that the most when it comes to these episode battles, story mode stuff. So, and additionally, you played the episode battles earlier. We didn't really go into the branching maps, the what if stuff, right? Or I guess just, you know, whatever could take place if you fuck with something in the timeline. Okay, you go Goku, you know, go Super Saiyan in the Saiyan Saga early or whatever, right? That's an example. What if this guy defeated him instead of losing to him? Like those kinds of battles. So yeah, that is something we put extra focus on, the branching fights, okay? That's another thing. Instead of seeing the story told a million times like we have, more focus went on the kind of what if paths and stuff. So we're going to be experiencing stuff that we never experienced in the Dragon Ball series. An example, and I mean, at this point, I don't really consider it too much of a spoiler, but the very first match with Raditz and stuff, you can do, you know, a version of it where I guess like Master Roshi and Krillin and I think Piccolo all team up and they defeat Raditz, right? Like it's like a team effort. Like that's pretty crazy. I don't know if that's still in there. That was like one of the very first ones. That could have been like a demo thing. But they also had like another one where, oh, Goku dodges the special beam cannon. It kills Raditz, but Goku's alive. Like that's kind of crazy, right? So I actually wanted to touch upon those branches. Can you go into a little detail about how significant those branches actually go? This is important right here, okay? How much of a different game am I playing if I follow one of those branches versus someone who just followed the canonical story of Dragon Ball? So it's a really hard question to answer because depending on which branch we're talking about, it could vary in a completely different direction, but some branches might just go back to the actual canonical route again. So it's a mix of what, you know, what I was initially thinking, and then I changed my mind because some other people brought up some points about it, you know, being something, oh, it'll extend even further, you know, into other things. So it's a little bit of both. It just depends. We don't know exactly which ones will, you know, kind of be like a one-off thing and then go back to the canonical route, and then which paths will deviate and go into something a little bit crazier and then go even further beyond, like Super Saiyan 3, right? No, but you know what I mean? Like there might be things, I'm not confirming this, but there might be things that go further than just the saga it's in. Maybe it can go further. Maybe. I don't know. They're not really specifying that, but he's saying it could vary in a completely different direction. Maybe they're just referring to it just being something insane, like like a what if fusion, for example. Like that's pretty groundbreaking. So, for example, the example he used is very early. If you were to play the Goku episode battles when you fight Raditz, there's some smaller branches that have been there, but it takes you back to the canonical route. Okay, and obviously after Raditz is Vegeta, and after Vegeta is Frieza. So he's talking about one of those where it's just like pretty minor. Okay, it's still going to go back into the main timeline, and then you're just going to follow through until we find another branch, right? So yeah, some of them are just blips. Okay, real quick, easy. Boom, that's it. That's all you're going to get. And I guess some of them kind of take you in a more different, very drastically different direction. So what I'm getting from that is that it's just going to be something, again, like what he's saying, it's going to be just something like ridiculous. Like maybe you just go to like a completely different timeline or something like that. I don't know. I'm just saying shit. But just know that some of them are going to be quick and small, and some of them are going to be a lot more major, and it's going to change up shit a lot more, right? So I know you probably can't say, but I got to ask, through these what-if scenarios, is there any chance that we could see any new fusions born in this game? That's a crazy question to ask, and the answer is very interesting as well. So Fudutani says, very cool question. Hard question to answer. We want leave the ifs. Okay, we want to leave the what ifs a little hidden for until the game is out. Got it? We'll leave it at that for now. Thank you so much, Fudutani, for saying that, because I appreciate that, you know, he's not going to spoil anything. Obviously, he wouldn't. And hopefully there are no spoilers out there. I feel like there might be, just because with all the gameplay that came out, the people that went out to that special press event and got a bunch of gameplay, there is some story mode out there. Okay, I think somebody uploaded like the entire Goku Black story, which is kind of ridiculous. But for now, I'm going to try to stay away from any major what-if story stuff that's potentially being spoiled. If that is, I've just been hearing it. I can't confirm if that's a thing or not. But if there is story mode stuff out there that is like general stuff that you might want to see me cover, I'm down to do it. Obviously, if there are any spoilers, I'll put a spoiler warning. But for now, I think it's best that we all just kind of wait until the game drops. We're very close to the game dropping, and you know, obviously we want to experience everything for ourselves, right? So let's go back to the what if fusion type of stuff, and I'll go over my theory on how I think things could potentially work, or just my speculation or even predictions of what I personally want to see. Now, again, I brought this up, Gohan and Gohan. Imagine if they fused from a different dimension. Gohan and Goku fusing, I feel like has a decent chance if they're going and they're doing what if fusion paths. Because remember, whenever Fudutani, he's been asked questions about this is the same answer he gave whenever it was like when it came to GT and movies. He said, oh, that's a great question. I don't want to say anything. Like, he literally said, oh, that's a hard question to answer. Wait for further info. He said, wait for further info, okay? We want to leave the ifs a little hidden for now until the game is out. So that's not a confirmation that what if fusions are going to happen. But it's not crazy, because let's go back to the old games, okay? Now, I know this is a long time ago. This was, you know, decades ago when these games came out. But they did kind of everything that they, or whatever they felt like, okay, in these games. And again, this isn't specifically from Spike Chunsoft or anything. Spike was a different thing back then. A lot of this is from Dimps. But they had the opportunity to do these crazy new characters slash fusions. For example, Selen, okay? This is the very first Budokai game, okay? The very first Budokai game gave us one of the, like, funniest, like, crazy what ifs. Like, what if Cell absorbed Krillin? Like, by accident. Is that not kind of wild? Like, one of the very first Dragon Ball games that was kind of, you know, played like worldwide, they added this. That was a thing. And then obviously when you got to like Budokai 2 and 3, they started doing some crazy what if fusion and like absorptions. Like, you had Goku slash Goten or whatever. You had Tiancha, right? They even gave 2 different versions, an alternate costume version of Goku or whatever. And then you had all the crazy absorptions with Super Buu. Like, what if Super Buu absorbed Frieza, Cell, Tien, Vegeta from the Buu Saga? Like, is that not kind of wild that, like, they were able to just do that shit in the video games? And, like, I don't know how all that works. I don't think they need necessarily, like, special permission from Shueisha or anything, because this is all unique creative stuff that they're making themselves. Like, this isn't something that was ever featured in the anime or anything. Same thing with Raging Blast. They did Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta and Super Saiyan 3 Broly and stuff. Like, I don't know how all that works when it comes to, you know, trying to make that. But when it comes to Dragon Ball fusions, they made a whole ass fucking game about crazy what if fusions. Like, here we have the very first, or okay, maybe not the Trunks and Vegeta one, but these 2 fusions here, these are some father-son fusions, right? That I think would be really cool to see. Not specifically these designs. These designs kind of suck ass. But for example, this is the like the first official Gohan and Goku fusion. They call him Kuhan. I think it's Teen Gohan and Kid Goku fused together, which Kid Goku is also teen. So this is like a teen version of them. And I mean, I think it looks okay. I just feel like, you know, it would have looked way cooler in the Buu Saga, because having the solid, just like, you know, orange Turtle Hermit Gi, because that's what it would have been if they fused together with, like, you know, the black hair and everything, with the Patara earrings. It would have looked really, really badass, I think, okay? Like, I love Vegito's design because it's so simple, okay? It's just Goku's gi that's kind of inverted, and then he's got the gloves and the boots from Vegeta. It's very simple, okay? Like this one right here, like these, like this fucking Vegeta and Trunks one, this one looks horrible. I'm sorry. Like the jacket looks awesome. I love the jacket design and everything, but like everything else, it's like too crazy. Like he's got Vegeta's hair, but then he's got 2 bangs, and then he's got like Trunks' face and eyes. It looks weird, dude. This one isn't the best you know, showcase of it. I think the better one would be the one from Dragon Ball Heroes, but again, Dragon Ball Heroes shit it's not gonna happen. Don't expect any of that. But I'm just using it as an example of, like, they made a whole game dedicated to what if fusions, okay? So what if fusions have always been a thing in the past in all of these, you know, older Dragon Ball games. If they could bring that back for something like this and actually give us like an official version of Goku and Gohan who fused in the Buu saga, I think that would move mountains, bro. That would move, you know, planets. Like people will be talking about this game. Like we're already talking about this game like for decades. Like it's gonna be crazy. Like, oh, this was the game that gave us the very first, you know, official version of what these characters would look like. And people take this out of like I guess some people don't know the difference between official and I guess canon or whatever. When I say official, I mean it's an official design, you know, in the video games and stuff, okay? Like, it's not a fan-made, necessarily, like, thing, okay? This is something in the games. If you want to call it fan-made, sure, whatever, but it's not like Dragon Ball AF or Dragon Ball Kakume or whatever those fan-made mangas are that people are, you know, making or whatever. I'm talking about, like, this is actually something in the games. You're paying money for it. Like, it's merchandise in a sense, right? But obviously, that doesn't mean it's canon to, you know, the main timeline of Dragon Ball. This isn't something that you're going to see in Toyotaro's manga, right? Unless he makes it himself, you know, then you can call it like canon or whatever the fuck you want to call it, whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a lot. There was a lot to talk about in terms of those what if stuff. We can finally understand and know going in that, you know, some paths are going to be very small and some of them are going to be a lot more crazier and major and stuff. And what if fusions are not entirely out, you know, out of the question, but I wouldn't expect it too much, okay? I wouldn't expect it to get that crazy. I'd be okay with stuff like, oh, what if Vegito fought, you know, Kid Buu instead of, you know, them fighting separately, or, you know, Goku having to use a Spirit Bomb. You know, something like that I feel like is a little bit more realistic. But y'all let me know your thoughts and opinions about it. What if fusions would you like to see? What if paths would you like to see? I love reading all the cool ideas and stuff. And hey, you could even at least make them in your own custom battle, you know, custom story thing or whatever, instead of, you know, having to wait for them to do it. That's why they did the custom battle. Like, hey, we didn't do it, but hey, you can make it yourself. Again, thanks for watching. Drop a like, subscribe here on the channel, ring my notification, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet.